Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. As you can see, the sun is still up. I'm actually making this video Wednesday afternoon, and I will be downloading it Thursday. So for all intents and purposes, happy Thursday. Okay, that being said, I'm going to talk about, I'm not a big fan of Yee. I just did a video about a week ago. And I've had this opinion for a long time, and a lot of people on Facebook agreed with me, so I did a video talking about it. How I feel about Kanye West or Yee or Yeezy, the way he handles, the way he portrays, the way he uses, the way he, I gotta watch my language, the way he puts his woman out there, BIANCA Sensiori. I just did a video on that. So if you go back about a week ago, and I have no respect for the man. It looks like he's using her. The look on her face, she always looks uncomfortable. She looks embarrassed. I don't know. Maybe she enjoys doing it. Maybe, I mean, if you want to call it fashion, I say he's hoeing her out. Is my opinion on that. Okay, so this is the news. He's going to for this video. I'm not gonna use the P word, the 4 letters. I'm gonna call it adult material for this, and I'll use that term. I have a lot. Unfortunately, I was addicted to it, and I was cross addicted with the things I was using. I've been clean and sober for 17 and a half years, and I was cross addicted. Colombia's finest export, the white material, and I was cross addicted to adult material. When I thought of one, I immediately thought of the other. I was literally cross addicted to the two, and I also have a lot of other experience with this. I'm going to talk about this. I don't think my point here. There's no. Let's be honest here. What is the purpose? What is the use of adult material? Is it entertaining? No. There's one purpose. There's just one purpose, and that is to fuel, mostly for men, to fuel their extracurricular solo activities. That's it. To get off. That's its sole purpose. It has no entertainment value. I've dated a lot of women. And some of the women, I've dated had open minds, and we talked about watching videos as part of our, experience. And I did it several times, and I'll be honest. Let me know what you guys think. In my opinion, it was pointless. We put it on. This me and other girls. I've done this with a few of the women that I've dated, and we put it on, and I think the kind of awkward, even though we were dating for years in some cases, it was still just an awkward kind of weird vibe, and that overplayed any kind of stimulation to what we might have expected. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of just awkward and embarrassing. And then once we got things going between the two of us, it was just, after about 2 minutes, it was just playing in the background and we started laughing. We actually, it was more humorous. It was more of a joke, because we're being romantic or intimate, and in the background, you hear, and all those noises, and we start cracking up. Hearing the stuff that's going on, in the video. That's my experience. Here, let me talk a little bit more about this. Like I said, I was addicted to this stuff, and now that I'm 58 years old, I really just don't have any use for it. I really don't. For the longest time, I had to avoid it to stay clean and sober. I remember the first time this was probably 1972. I won't say my age, but I was very young. And I came across me and my cousins, my female cousins I was hanging out with. And we were building a tree fort, and we went into this maintenance building. My father was a park ranger, so there was a big maintenance building. And I'd go in there and steal the hammers and the nails and all the wood. And we went in there, and there was the guys that worked there left some material out. And my female cousins got disgusted. They're like, "Oh, that's disgusting." That I still remember what my cousin said. She says, "That's how guys get their jollies." That's the exact. That was 50 years ago, and I still remember her saying that. And I remember I was just transfixed by it. I saw the magazine open in front of me, and I remember it was like my adrenaline just went through the roof. That was the very first time I ever saw anything like that. I ever saw a woman naked in that form. And it was actually two women, and I didn't even know what I was looking at. I actually thought that I was watching one woman. I was looking at one woman and contorted, like bent over in the middle, when it was actually the number, and you're seeing it from one end. And I was so young, I didn't even know what I was looking at. But it hit me so hard. My blood pressure, I remember my face got all red, and I just couldn't stop staring at it. And my older cousin, my female cousin, pulled me out of there, and it was like I couldn't get it out of my mind. It was just, that's all I could think about. I was seeing that image in my, it was just like such a rush, such a buzz, and I was real young. That was the first time I ever saw it. It had that effect on me. And from there on, I remember, like I said, I grew up in a state park where my father was a park rangers, and back in the 70s, early 80s, men would go there by themselves. There wasn't even any, there wasn't any video VHS back then. There was just magazines, and then there would be adult places with the 8mm movies. There wasn't even VHS tapes at this time. And men would go and sit in their cars with their magazines and throw the magazines out. And me and my buddy would be riding our bikes, and we'd find a Hustler here, a Playboy there, and we'd get these stashes of magazines. Starting back when I was that young, I had this stash hidden down in the basement. I'll fast forward. I actually got a job involved in this. I got fired from my drafting job as working for architects because I was using and drinking. And I got a job driving a truck for a magazine company. And I delivered, my whole truck was full of, our whole warehouse, my whole truck was full of every adult magazine you could imagine. It was a magazine wholesale company. We had a whole warehouse full of every magazine, bundles and bundles piled up to the roof. And I would go out to the adult bookstores, to the convenience stores, me and like 30 other truck drivers, and deliver these magazines. And then I started dealing them on the side, because the company would say that they were unused, and they would get returned to our company, to our wholesale company. And my bosses would cheat on this, and they would say that they were destroyed, and they'd have a shredder, a huge industrial shredder. But they wouldn't actually shred them, and they'd repackage them and sell them. Like when you see those magazines with you used to see them with the title cut off. That was our companies like us reselling them on the side, not paying taxes on them either. I imagine. I very few of the people working there figured that out. But yeah, I dealt in this. Back in 1986, me and my girlfriend went to Los Angeles. And I remember walking around Hollywood Boulevard. We went to San Diego on vacation, La Jolla, Los Angeles. And I remember being in Hollywood. This is 1986, 87. And it wasn't Hollywood Boulevard, but it was one of the streets parallel to it, up a couple streets. And there was a movie theater, and it said auditions for adult movies right here. And me and my girl started laughing, and she's like, I dare you to go in there. So we actually went in there, and I signed up to audition. This is like right off Hollywood Boulevard in 1986, and I walk in there with my girl. And we go in there, and it's just as cheesy and nasty as you would imagine, a rundown old theater. And up in front of all the seats in the auditorium, there was a stage, and there was a card table, and there was a couple women, a couple men sitting there. And the men would have to just go up and drop trowel. And that was the audition. And when my girlfriend saw this, she said, "No way!" She got all angry at this. It wasn't a joke anymore, and she got all angry, and she pretty much dragged me out of there. So I didn't get to audition for the movie. I don't know if I would have gone through with it. So I did that, and then once I started using, I got cross addicted. A lot of men are familiar with this, with methamphetamine and cocaine and adult material. You get cross addicted. And one would make me think of the other. I would always have both of them. It made me think that I would never be able to have normal relations ever again. Once I got clean and sober, I had to stay away from adult material completely. Like I said, anything, even just seeing a pretty girl in a short skirt walking at the mall, and it would start making me think of dealers' phone numbers. That's how bad it was. And for 7 years, I stayed away from relationships, adult material, and everything. And the good news is now it doesn't affect me in that manner anymore. I'm no longer affected by it, but I'm not interested in it. There's one site that I do admit that I look at when this is really personal. So, when I have a little extra time, when I'm in the bathroom and I have a little extra time sitting around, I'll page through this one, and I actually put the link to this on a previous video I did, and I got suspended for a week. I didn't know you cannot put links to adult stuff on these videos, so I got to be very careful here. But I look at it for purely social values. This one site has people from all over the world, and it's all amateur. And you probably know what I'm talking about. It begins with chat, and hopefully I won't get in trouble for that. And I love looking at this not because of the stuff I'm seeing, but trying to guess what country. I try to guess what country. You could tell what country these are coming from just by the background, by what the bedroom looks like, what the kitchen looks like, what the people look like. This is one of the sad things that I noticed. Whenever there's women overweight on there, almost every time they're from the United States. And I'm not saying that to put down the country or anything, but it's the truth. And it made me realize how Americans really do have a problem with obesity. I'm totally serious. If you know the site I'm talking about, you'll see that I'm not kidding around. These are some of the things that I would look at, and plus I used to work for architects, and we did design and stuff, and I know it sounds crazy, but I liked looking at the background. I like looking at what country they're from or the music they're playing. And I mean, of course, pretty girls with the busty girls are nice too, but I don't use it in that same fashion as I used to. I just use it pretty much to take up some time while I'm sitting around waiting for things to happen. All right, so I think I shared enough with you for this video. In my personal opinion, he's probably going to make a ton of money off this. But let's be honest, this, it's all it is an addiction. It's an unhealthy addiction. That's all it is. Anything that you take and you use privately like that for your own purposes, and that you're embarrassed, something that you have to hide, it's not something good. And like I said, I've used it with women, and it wasn't any extra boost. It was just silly, really. It just gave us a laugh more than turning us on, really. Let me know what you think. Yee and his new Yeezy adult venture. I'll be back with another video. You guys have a good Thursday.